Yeah. I mean, you can't really make up for lost biological sleep, right? So all the genes that are supposed to be turning on and turning off, like, that all that doesn't happen, right? If you've got alcohol in your system. So um we can't ever make that up, right? That sleep is lost essentially. And I what we see in our research is that, if you are not getting the sleep that you need, right, and you're accumulating what we call kind of sleep debt for every 45 minutes of sleep debt that you get, that basically results in a 10% decline in next day executive function. So you're 10% dumber with every 45 minutes of sleep debt you accrue.
Good grief.
So, yeah, so it
10%?
doesn't 10%. So this is measured via MBAC and Stroop. So this is a year-long study that we did with McKinsey CEOs. Yeah, it is wild. And we haven't published it yet, but we've talked about the results. But so there's prelim data, but
That's
absolutely
wild.
fascinating,
That
right?
is
It's wild,
wild.
right? I know. And I think what's like so sneaky is like we can't actually perceive our own cognitive, physical, and emotional declines generally, right? Like, and the other study that's wild is that we looked at sleep debt in these, really hard charging CEOs, and we had all of their direct reports were basically filling out a survey daily on how psychologically safe they felt. So there's like, Dr. Amy Edmondson, a renowned researcher from Harvard, who is like the godmother of psychological safety. And we know that psychological safety correlates with, more revenue generated. When you feel psychologically safe, you can kind of bring your true self to the table. And that's where people feel, the happiest and the healthiest. And what we saw is
Creative.
that
Yeah. Hmm.
creative and yeah, and just yeah. So what we saw is that for every 45 minutes of sleep debt that these CEOs accrued, their direct reports felt less psychologically safe. And their
employees.
employees, their employees.
Wow.
So imagine, take that same kind of theory and bring it into your home environment. Like what if and as CEOs, they're trying to keep it together, right? Like they have the sleep debt, but they're trying to be as great as they can for their direct reports. But what happens when I go home is just like, imagine your household not feeling psychologically safe around you because you're carrying sleep debt. So that alcohol that you're having at night is creating this sleep debt invariably, which is like, isn't just impacting you, to be very clear, right? Like that sleep debt that you accrue is going to impact every single person you love and care about. Like you will be less patient. They just how you hold, like, and even if the CEO isn't, is really doing everything they can, they're like, all right, I know I'm tired, but I'm going to just do my best to kind of bring, put my best face forward. Like how their direct reports are perceiving, just even how they hold their face, right? Like I can't perceive my own declines, right? Get back to my original point. Like, um, as a result, like I can't control like how I'm emoting. I can't control, like I can't even perceive that these like kind of negative emotions are getting transferred to the people around me.
There's these
That's
nonverbal cues that they're
yeah.
picking up on.
It's
Yeah.
like it's just is so kind of scary to me, but also like this unbelievable opportunity for leaders or anyone who's in charge of anyone, whether that's a parent, like I don't care who you are, you're interacting with people. I don't care if it's like the cash register person at CVS, like I don't know, she doesn't deserve it. Like my sleep debt baggage, right? So I don't know. I just feel like it's like this responsibility we kind of have as human beings to like, yeah, just like get it together.
I think that that is so powerful for everyone, and my mind, of course, is on my as a mother. Like, how do I show up when I've
Mm,
had a really bad night to my kids, and what are they making of that? Are they internalizing that and saying, "Am I, gosh, I'm going to cry now," but like, are they trying to say like, "Oh my gosh, I'm such a bad kid, like that's why mommy's mad at me," something like that, right? So it is
yeah.
really worth thinking about protecting our sleep and really taking it seriously. Like I think that
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things like, oh yeah, doc, I get it. I should drink more. I
I don't
should
know.
sleep more. Like, wouldn't it be nice? But yes, it would be nice. And you should do it. And you should try to figure out strategies in your family or in your, in the people that can support you in
Mm,
raising a family where you
mm,
can find sleep. And so, the naps that you said, I think that's really great.
yeah.
I've had discussions with people who talk about taking naps. I've heard up to 90 minutes, no longer. I've heard no more than 20 minutes, but I think there's some bio individuality there. I typically like 10, 15 minutes is like a little siesta I like to take midday if I've had a rough, let's say I had a rough night for whatever reason.